Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Women's tennis continues to look for its superstar. New Delhi. For the first time since 1984, both the men's and women's Roland Garros singles finals featured the world no one and no two. One of the big takeaways from this statistic was that the world's best players got through the draw as expected, and in the cruel majors world, the chances of that happening are very rare. Still, seedings and rankings count for something. There are indicators of form, mindset, and matchups. That is usually true, but in the women's game you need to come prepared for everything and anything. Upsets have often been the order of the day, and world no 361 Lois Boyson's run to the semi-final on Grand Slam debut, while taking down seeds Elise Mertens, Jessica Pegula, and Mira Andreeva was an indication of that. Coco Gauff really took to clay this year, winning in Paris after reaching the finals at Madrid and Rome. Her 18-match wins on the surface are a tour high, but what won her the Roland Garros final was hard. More than the game or the tactics, it was her spirit that prevailed. But it doesn't always happen that way. Gauff, 22, is one of the undisputed stars of the women's game, and her marketing potential is great too. But her game is still evolving. She can find a way past volatile players such as Aryna Sabalenka and Madison Keys, but can struggle against the more patient opponents. The same is perhaps true of Sabalenka too. She no longer struggles with the mental side of the game as much as she once did, but as the finals showed us all, she hasn't quite managed to put that behind her completely. She is the world no one. But she got that position after Iga Swiatek was hit with a reduction in ranking points for non-participation in mandatory tournaments. And sometimes it looks like she lacks belief. This despite already winning 3 titles and reaching 7 finals this year. The third piece of the top group in women's tennis is Swiatek, a player who once looked set to rule the game. But the 1-month doping ban she served early this year seems to have taken her off track. She was the reigning queen of Roland Garros, but this year she seemed tentative, and that perhaps is one way to describe how things are. Marketa Vondrousova, Gauff, Sabalenka, Swiatek, Barbora Krejcikova, Madison Keys. These are the names of the winners of the last 8 Grand Slams in women's tennis. 6 different winners, 3 recognized and 3 unpredictable talents. It's chaotic on most days, and some might argue, fun too. But many yearn for the days when Serena Williams ruled the roost. You'd have a Maria Sharapova to challenge her, and Justine Henin, or Kim Clijsters, or Venus Williams. There was a proper rivalry there, and that is one thing that the women's game lacks currently. Rivalry is what makes the superstar, and the superstar is who draws people to the stands. Renowned tennis coach Patrick Mouratoglou was asked to weigh in on why there were no women's matches scheduled at French Open during the night section this year. Not everyone would have liked his reply, but he did make a point. Most of the people who go to stadiums are not core fans of tennis. They want to come back home and say, I saw Djokovic, or I saw Alcaraz. If they come back and they say, I saw Swiatek, it's not the same, said Mouratoglou. He added, it's not only about leading players like Iga Swiatek, who is a 4-time winner and a 3-time reigning winner at the moment. She's not a superstar like Serena when she was playing or Sharapova when she was playing. In 2021, I was coaching Serena and they scheduled her at night. It was the only women's match scheduled at night. She's a superstar. Even if it lasted 1 hour, people would come home and say, wow, I have seen Serena Williams. There is a lot of talk about how you shouldn't compare players across eras. But that is exactly how the fans operate. They see a young player and then run that player against someone they used to root for in the past. It is a mental comparison, not always accurate, but everyone does it. The challenge for the current group of the players is to raise the level of their game to a point where the comparisons don't seem like a stretch anymore. And if someone can rise above the rest in doing that, and stay there, that's when things will really start to get interesting. In the glowing spotlight of center court, where silence holds its breath before each serve and the echo of a racket's kiss lingers like thunder, women's tennis waits. It waits for the next superstar, not just a champion, not just a winner, but a transcendent figure who can command the world's gaze, turn matches into must-see drama, and transcend sport itself. It waits because, for 2 decades, it didn't have to. From the late 1990s into the 2010s, Women's tennis had Venus and Serena Williams, towering athletes who not only shattered records but remade the sport's identity. Serena, in particular, was more than dominant. She was mythic. Her power, resilience, style, and unapologetic individuality made her a global icon. Even when she lost, she dominated the narrative. Every tournament she entered felt like a coronation or an upset of historical proportions. The world watched. And now, in the post-Serena era, the court feels a little quiet. There are champions, plenty of them. Iga Swiatek, for instance, with her ferocious topspin and clay court mastery, is a multiple Grand Slam winner and current No. 1. Aryna Sabalenka blasts winners that leave trails of smoke. Coco Gauff, still so young, won her first major at 19 and speaks with wisdom beyond her years. Naomi Osaka, when she plays, draws attention for both her talent and her courage off the court. Alina Rybakina, Jessica Pegula, Ons Jabeur. The names rotate in and out of final weekends. The depth of talent has arguably never been greater. But somehow, the magic hasn't coalesced. Perhaps that's the paradox. The very unpredictability of today's women's game, its beautiful chaos, has created a kind of superstar vacuum. One month, Swiatek is unbeatable. The next, she's stunned early. Gauff is crowned the future, but then struggles to string together consistent wins. Sabalenka seems unstoppable, until she's not. Unlike the big three in men's tennis, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, who dominated for over a decade, women's tennis currently offers no fixed pole star. This isn't a problem, exactly. It's more of a longing. Because fans don't just want winners, they want mythology. They want a player whose name becomes synonymous with a generation. A player who sells out stadiums just by showing up. A player whose rise is chronicled not only in sports columns, but in fashion magazines, documentaries, and bedtime stories for the next wave of juniors dreaming of glory. They want rivalries with teeth and arcs with emotional stakes. The last time women's tennis truly had that, Serena was chasing history, trying to match or break Margaret Court's record of 24 Grand Slam titles. Every match felt momentous, not just for its technical quality, but for its context. Now, despite the high caliber of play, there's a sense of disconnection. Storylines bloom, but often fade before they take root. A new era, still finding its voice. To understand this transitional moment, we need to look beyond the scoreboard. Women's tennis is in a unique cultural place. Social media has fragmented fandom. A player can have millions of followers on TikTok, but remain virtually unknown to casual sports fans. The season is long and grueling, stretching across continents and time zones, making it hard to maintain a narrative throughline. And unlike in the Williams era, no current player has yet cracked the code of consistent dominance. But maybe that's the opportunity. Maybe the next superstar isn't the one who wins every tournament, but the one who builds a story people care about, on and off the court. Coco Gauff, with her youth, activism, and charisma, is a compelling contender. Naomi Osaka, despite her hiatus, still generates global interest and could return as a cultural force. Iga Swiatek, quiet but cerebral, might yet capture hearts if her dominance expands beyond clay. Jabeur's creativity and representation of the Arab world bring something beautifully different. Still, none have reached Serena's heights of ubiquity, and perhaps that's unfair. Serena was lightning in a bottle, but every era needs a face, and women's tennis, with all its riches, still seeks one. Building a superstar in the modern age. So what makes a superstar in today's sports landscape? It's more than wins. It's presence. It's story. It's the feeling that when they walk on court, something larger than life is unfolding. It's the fierce glint in the eye of Maria Sharapova, the flair of Martina Hingis, the resilience of Kim Clijsters, the genius of Justine Henin, the larger-than-life gravity of Serena. These weren't just great players, they were unforgettable personalities. Today, tennis is waiting for someone who not only wins but owns the moment. Someone who handles media with grace or defiance. Someone whose fashion choices spark conversations. Someone whose rivalries feel personal. Someone whose matches you can't miss not because of the outcome, but because of the theater.